The PL-89 system, the PL-89 has a connection with Chanukah. And the number 89 is specifically related to Chanukah for a few reasons. Number one is that 89 is the gematria numerical value of Chanukah, spelled with a vav. Ches nun vav kaf he. And also, there's a connection to Chanukah because Chanukah can be spelled in two ways. Some people spell it Ches nun kaf he without a vav. It can be spelled that way, which would give it a numerical value of 83. If it's 83, then the 83rd day of the year comes out, depending on whether it's a full year, or they call it male or chas, or defective, or if it's full. Meaning this year we had, we only had 29 days of Cheshvan, so it was defective, or it's less, meaning it's, the 83rd day, if you add, Rosh Hashanah is the first day of the year, let's say, and then the 30th of Tishrei is the 30th day of the year, so then the 60th day of the year would be 30, let's say 30 Cheshvan. So then you add 25 days to that. So then it's going to be the 85th day of the year is going to be Chanukah. So the 83rd day of the year would come out sometimes 2 days before Chanukah or a day before Chanukah. And then the 89th day of the year will always be during Chanukah. So whether you spell Chanukah with a vav or without a vav, it spans most of Chanukah in terms of the days of the year. But tonight is the third day of Chanukah, so I figured I'd make a video about it, connecting the Chanukah, which is also a connection to 89 because it's 8 or 9, right? A Chanukah, does it have 8 lights or does it have 9 lights? Yes, Does it have 8, 9, or 9 lights? The answer is yes. It has 8 lights and it has 9 lights. It has both. You could say it has 9 lights, but it's the ninth light is not really part of the Chanukah. But that's the whole idea of 8 or 9. It's 8 and 9. And it's 8 or 9. That's the whole idea of it. The PL-89 is pure logic. Pure logic, which means it analyzes every iota of reality that we see in front of us, and it explains it clearly in a way that can be understood. So the Chanukah, tonight is the third night, but we're seeing 4 lights. And there's an idea that came up on Shabbos, but God willing, I'll wait till tomorrow to say it because it will have more effect. It'll be on the 4th, and then or 5th. In the Torah, in many places it says 2 or 3 witnesses. It says the word or, like this, like 4 or 5, 3 or 2 or 3. There's a very important function for that word or. And I'm not making a pun on the word light, because or means light, but I mean or, the English word or, meaning choice, either or. So it's a very important value to the fact that the Chanukah has 8 or 9 lights, or 8 and 9 lights. And that's one of the ideas of the PL-89. And another reason why the PL-89 could start with 8, because 8 is Chanukah. The PL-89 is constructed in a series of 10 8-day weeks. It's really 11, but it's 10 that are visible, and the 11th one is invisible. And Chanukah, on the calendar system of the PL-89, the Chanukah starts within that invisible place, which implicates, it suggests the idea of yesh me'ayin, that something that is visible comes out of something that's invisible. Things that we see here are come from nothing. So in the PL-89 calendar, if you count it from, like Rosh Hashanah is 8, and then you 8, and then you count each week successively, you're going to go through 3 months. But also, what I noticed this year in particular is that Vayeshev is in Shabbos Chanukah. That's usually not the case. Usually Miketz is Shabbos Chanukah. And we talk about the story of Yosef, but also of Yehuda. And this year in particular, I zoomed in on the because this is the year Tough Shin Pei Dal is the year that the PL-89 was released. So I think there's a really important significance in the way the year is structured. Every year, of course, but each year has its own revelation, its own thing that unfolds and is made known, mystery that's solved. So this is the year. It started right before Rosh Hashanah, but really after Rosh Hashanah is when the teaching started coming out, the revelations. So this year I noticed that we read Parshas Vayeshev, Shabbos Chanukah, and we read the story of Yehuda and Tamar. And this is the birth of Mashiach. And Yehuda and Tamar, and the story goes that Yehuda thought that Tamar was a prostitute, was a harlot. She dressed up like and that's a mystery in itself. And then after that happened, he wanted to give her payment, and he looked for her to give her the goat or whatever it was, and he couldn't find her. And so then the pasuk says in the Torah, it says, "Vayihi ki mishalosh chadashim." It was like about 3 months after that they saw that Tamar was pregnant, and they thought that she committed adultery or whatever, I guess not adultery, whatever, some kind of a sin, So basically, it says Kim Shalosh Chadashim, about 3 months, and the PL-89 is 3 months, but with Moshe Rabbeinu it says Shalosh Yerachim, which is also 3 months, but it's a different way of saying months. So there's a connection between the Geula that Mashiach comes from and these 3 months. But the question also is why does it say Chadashim by Yehuda and it says Yerachim by Moshe? That's another maybe question for the record. But those are my thoughts for the third night of Chanukah, which is 27